Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
An armed man robbed a local bank this morning and is still on the loose. Good evening, I'm Abby Grisey. Thanks for joining us. Athens County Sheriffs and FBI agents are still investigating the Coolville robbery. Coolville Elementary and other local businesses were put on lockdown as a result. WOUB reporter Marisa Oberly was on the scene earlier and has the details for us now.
Hocking Valley Bank employees were left shaken but unharmed this morning after an armed robber entered the bank. Located just off Ohio 7 North, the robber entered the bank around 10 a.m. Athens County Sheriff Ronnie Smith says the suspect talked to a bank employee before grabbing an undisclosed amount of money and leaving the bank on foot. Police say the suspect headed west towards Tupper Plains. As of this afternoon, local sheriffs are still on the search for a suspect. The FBI was also called in to help investigate, but Sheriff Smith says this does not mean there's anything unusual about the case.
It is. It's also protocol that FBI, we notify them, and we're the lead investigator, but they're there to assist us, or if they happen to cross jurisdictional lines, they're there to help us.
During the pursuit, Coolville Elementary, the library, and Arcadia Nursing Center were placed on lockdown. Coolville Elementary's principal, Mary Mitchell, says deputies notified the school around 10:15 this morning. Police told school administrators the lockdown was a precautionary effort and wouldn't affect the school's scheduled Halloween parade.
So we just waited. We wanted to wait until we heard back from him before we decided which way to go. And my question to him was, are our children safe? And he said yes, and go ahead and run the parade as we normally do.
2 parents and 1 grandparent said they received messages about the lockdown, but only at 12:30. Over 2 hours after the lockdown began, and half an hour after the lockdown was released. The school administration said the parents weren't notified sooner because the school was busy securing the area and ensuring all students were accounted for.
Police say the suspect is described as wearing a Carhartt jacket, a hoodie, blue jeans, and a mask. Investigators have not offered any information on the suspect's age, race, height, or weight. They are also not releasing a description of the weapon. Anyone with information is asked to contact the sheriff's office. The annual Halloween block party is tomorrow, but officers are already arresting people ahead of the party. This week, prosecutor Keller Blackburn conducted an undercover investigation into the use of cocaine and Molly at Ohio University. Blackburn questioned 12 locals, 11 of whom are OU students. Investigators searched 3 nearby homes. Drug trafficking evidence was found in all 3, and cocaine was found in 2. Officers arrested OU student Lucas Meehan in Fairfield County early this morning. Meehan is charged with trafficking cocaine, but officials say more of the questioned individuals will be charged at a later date. The Halloween block party is still scheduled to go on tomorrow, though. It kicks off at 6 p.m. on Court Street, and as our weather reporter Matt Thigpen will tell us a little later on, the weather is supposed to be great for an outside event. This year's lineup includes more than 10 performers who will perform on 2 different stages. The event shuts all of Court Street down for the festivities, but one Athens eatery will be remaining open for its normal hours for the first time. Big Mama's Burritos has shut down early in years past, but this year they will be staying open until 3 a.m. The change is one that owner Quinn Scholar says his staff is prepared for.
We're basically running into it like a homecoming weekend. We've had a lot of experience doing homecoming, which is actually our busiest weekend of the year. Halloween's our second busiest, and we pretty much run it the same. A lot of staff, a lot of inventory, and we just go for 72 hours straight.
Whether you're out there at 6 p.m. or later in the night, there are some important safety tips to keep in mind. Make sure costumes are fire resistant, test out Halloween makeup to make sure it's non-toxic, and grab a flashlight and some batteries in case of an emergency. You shouldn't need an umbrella this year, but again, our weatherman Matt Thigpen will have more on that in his forecast coming up. Although this week's weather may make it hard to believe, winter is fast approaching. Nelsonville residents can learn how to protect their homes from the elements at the Weatherization Open House. The event will be held at the Nelsonville Food Cupboard on Monday morning. There will be workshops on energy efficiency, demonstrations, testimonials, and Senator Lou Gentile will speak. And now Matt has our weather. Matt, will anyone have to worry about weatherizing their homes anytime soon?
Well, we've been unseasonably warm, so Abby, I don't think we need to winterize just yet. Last week was a little cool blast. Right now in Athens, we're seeing 60 degrees. We're seeing those south-southwest winds out of the south-southwest at 3 miles per hour. Whoa, got a little mixed up there. Dew point at 41 degrees. That dry air with that high pressure is moving in our region. Across our region, our cooler spot, Columbus, 56. Ironton and down there to our south, 63 degrees. New Lexington, 57 degrees. Looking out, if you're going out tonight and doing any errands or anything, you see 53 by 8 p.m. tonight, partly cloudy skies. By midnight, we're at 50 degrees, getting a little chilly out there, clear skies. Be able to see that waning crescent moon. 46 by 4 a.m., chilly morning for week 10 of high school football, the finals before the playoffs. 59 degrees, clear skies, sweater weather, if you know what that means. You might want to take your girl out to see a high school football game in the area. Great day to do it. Great sweater weather. Sounds good to me. How about that, Abby?
Sounds great, Matt. Thank you. Two suspects are in custody today after a 2-year-old girl was shot and killed Tuesday in Columbus. The girl's parents were seriously injured from trying to shield their daughter from the gunfire, but they are expected to survive. The first suspect was arrested Tuesday, and the second was arrested yesterday. Both have been charged with murder and felonious assault. A new site is letting voters trade their votes from state to state. Reporter Megan Hickey tells us why anyone would use something like this and if it can possibly get them in trouble.
It's a virtual handshake between voters in different states that's putting some Ohioans on edge.
Now that is evil. I don't agree with it. I think it's wrong.
Participants can sign up online or on their smartphones, pledging to vote for each other's candidates in their respective states so that their votes can make an impact.
It sounds unsavory because anything that sounds like vote trading sounds like somebody's manipulating the system.
But political analyst Tom Sutton tells me it's a practice that stands up in court.
The fact of the matter is that if it's a one-on-one transaction involving just two people with each other, that in and of itself is an expression of speech, not an illegal act.
One site, Trump Traders, tells me they're targeting third-party supporters who don't want to jeopardize the main party elections in their swing states, like Ohio.
If you're in Ohio and you don't like Trump and you also don't like Clinton, we've got people that want to talk to you that feel the same way.
Their site launched just last week and already has 3,000 users. They expect to hit 10,000 before Election Day. The Secretary of State's office tells me it's legal, and as long as money is not involved,
then it's avoiding the problem of buying a vote.
Vote trading isn't a new concept. It was first done in 2000 during the Bush-Gore election when some Ralph Nader supporters in swing states traded their votes. More West Virginia high schoolers are graduating than ever before. Superintendent Michael Martirano says almost 90% of students graduate now, compared to about 83% in 2014. Martirano credits tracking 45 indicators to identify students at risk of dropping out, including attendance, behavior, and grades. The state expects over 90% of students to graduate by 2020. A Kentucky jury convicted a doctor today of performing unnecessary heart procedures on dozens of patients. From 2008 to 2013, Dr. Richard Paulus performed cardiac stent procedures on more than 70 patients who didn't even need them. Charges also include healthcare fraud. The U.S. Attorney's Office says Dr. Paulus falsified records to make it appear that the procedures were necessary before billing Medicare, Medicaid, and other insurers. Dr. Paulus will be sentenced on April 25th and faces 25 years in prison. Coming up next on Newswatch, the FBI announced a new investigation into recently released Hillary Clinton emails. We have their latest findings after the break.
University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
Friday nights are all about high school football, but when the games are over and the helmets come off, it's time for some gridiron glory. I'm your host, Danny Dean, back under center. Don't miss a play this season. Join myself and the rest of our team on Friday nights at 11:30 on WOUB and catch us again on Saturday mornings at 11:30. We are committed to bringing you the stories of players, coaches, and communities. And of course, we can't forget about some highlights. We all know there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron glory.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
The FBI launched a fresh investigation today into a newly released batch of Hillary Clinton's emails. FBI Director James Comey says the emails surfaced during an unrelated FBI case. Comey told Congress it's investigating whether or not there is classified information in the new emails. However, they have already been able to determine that these new emails did not come from her private email server. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump commented on today's investigation at a rally in New Hampshire.
I have great respect for the fact that the FBI and the Department of Justice are now willing to have the courage to right the horrible mistake that they made.
Trump's running mate is also in the news today. Vice presidential candidate Mike Pence faced a scary situation as his plane slid off the runway at New York City's LaGuardia Airport. Reed Binion reports.
Republican vice presidential nominee Mike Pence's plane skidding off of a runway Thursday night while landing at New York's LaGuardia Airport. In the tower's audio recording, the controller is heard telling pilots, "Eastern, stop, stop, Eastern." And moments later, "Eastern Jet 3452, we're getting help for you." Members of the press who were on board describing the frightening experience.
Pretty hard landing, and then you could feel the plane fishtailing towards the back.
The aircraft coming to a sharp halt in the grass on the side of the runway, reportedly undamaged, though there was apparent damage to the runway itself due to safety material designed to break apart.
Approximately 80 arrestor beds were destroyed. Arrestor beds are FAA required installations at the end of runways.
Once the plane was stopped, Pence walked to the back to check on the press, then speaking with first responders outside. After the incident, he tweeted out a thanks to emergency crews who responded. Hillary Clinton writing on Twitter that she was glad no one was hurt. Trump also weighed in, mentioning the incident briefly towards the end of his speech at a rally in Ohio.
I just spoke to Mike Pence, and he's fine. He got out. Everybody's fine. Everybody's fine.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
All right, thanks, Reed. Pence did return to the campaign trail today. The NTSB has launched a team to investigate the incident, and an FAA spokesperson tells CNN it will investigate as well. 2 Florida women are being accused of voter fraud. Gladys Cuego and Tamika Kergel were arrested Friday. According to the state attorney's office, investigators learned Cuego illegally marked ballots in favor of Miami-Dade mayoral candidate Raquel Regalado. Authorities say the 74-year-old's co-workers caught the illegal activity. Meanwhile, 33-year-old Tamika Kergel is accused of filling out voter registration forms in favor of United for Care. That is the campaign leading the way for legalizing medical marijuana in Florida.
The investigators were very aggressive and assertive in trying to determine whether there was any organized motive for her doing this, and apparently there was not. And I think the most important thing here is the minute those irregularities were detected, they were eliminated, they were brought to us, and we swiftly investigated them and arrested them.
Cuego has been charged with 2 felony accounts of marking another person's ballot. Kergel has been charged with 5 counts of submitting false voter registration information, also felonies. On Wall Street today, stocks were up and down across the board. Here's a look at stocks of local interest. report from Hershey is not a trick, but rather a major treat for the company. That story's still ahead.
It will be unseasonably warm this weekend, but we'll wait on that winter chill. All my extended forecast. Halloween's here.
Professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
Friday nights are all about high school football, but when the games are over and the helmets come off, it's time for some gridiron glory. I'm your host, Danny Dean, back under center. Don't miss a play this season. Join myself and the rest of our team on Friday nights at 11:30 on WOUB, and catch us again on Saturday mornings at 11:30. We are committed to bringing you the stories of players, coaches, and communities, and of course, we can't forget about some highlights. We all know there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron glory.
From the Newswatch Weather Center on the campus of Ohio University, I'm Matt Thigpen. Right now in Athens, we're seeing 60 degrees, winds out of the south-southwest at 3 miles per hour. Dew point 41 degrees. That dry high pressure has moved into our area, but don't you worry. Area-wide temperatures: 63 down in Ironton, 56 up in Columbus, 57 in New Martinsville, again 60 here in Athens. Almanac for the day looks like this: 63 we hit our high today, 45 was our low, right on par for our high, but that low is getting closer to freezing for our average, so we got to watch that as we move through the season of fall. Precip cast, there's that high pressure dominating our region. We'll see this weak cold front move in Sunday. I'll have that in my extended forecast. Bring us light showers into our area. But as we move on, football forecast, again, last week, this is week 10. And then we have playoffs next week, 59 degrees, clear skies. That sweater weather, get all cuddly up. Whoever you take, it could be your parents, it could be your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever you want. Great football night, hour by hour for tonight. 6 a.m., 8 p.m., 53 degrees, 50 by midnight, 46 by 4 a.m. on Monday, or tomorrow. Chilly morning, woo! Early risers need a jacket. 81 for a high tomorrow in Ironton. Warmer spot, warmer. We're in the upper 70s for most of our region. That's unseasonably warm for this time of the year. Again, we should be down in the lower 60s. 70, mid and upper 70s for most of our region. 78 tomorrow here in Athens, mostly sunny, unseasonably warm again. That Honey for the Hearts parade starts at 6 p.m. tomorrow. It's going to be awfully warm. Here it is, your hour by hour. 8 a.m., 47 degrees, 68 by noon. 4 p.m., 78 degrees. What a warm day. Feels like summer again. Here's that Halloween block party Abby was talking about earlier. 68 degrees, clear skies, spooky evening. You see that moon? That's pretty scary. I don't know about you. So is Court Street tomorrow. It will be pretty scary. See ghouls and goblins everywhere. Trick or treat for Monday for our area. 60 degrees, about the average temperature for our area. Partly cloudy skies. We will get that cold front out of here Sunday. Mild and dry for our trick or treaters, for all those ghouls and goblins, the little ones, getting all that candy and not the other stuff for Monday. As we take a look at our temperatures for overnight tonight. 46 again if you're going out tonight here in Athens. 49 in Ironton, 49 down in Ironton, 50 in our warmer spot in Columbus. Athens tonight, 46 degrees. Mostly clear skies. Little nipply out there. Calm conditions here in Athens. Weekend outlook looks like this. 78 Saturday, 58 Saturday evening, 75 by Sunday. There's that extended forecast. 78, 75 on Sunday. Monday for Halloween, 68 degrees. Warming back up Tuesday, Wednesday. Cooling back down Thursday and Friday. Sunny skies. Abby?
Thank you, Matt. Hershey is celebrating National Chocolate Day with good news. Hershey reported profits topped Wall Street forecasts today, which is also when the nation celebrates all things chocolate. This is the first earnings report for the company since Cadbury owner Mondelez abandoned its plan to buy Hershey for $23 billion. Shares of Hershey rose 5% in early trading on the good news, and its stock is up nearly 10% this year. Sales of Hershey products are actually growing faster overseas than in the U.S. They're up more than 5% internationally, compared with just under 2% in North America. Now let's see what Megan has coming up next in sports.
Hey everyone, I'm Megan Vanslow. Coming up in sports, a recap of the Bobcats matchup in Toledo last night. Ohio last won at Toledo in 1967. To put that in perspective, that's the year my mother was born. So my mom went her entire life without seeing Ohio win in Toledo. Until last night. And speaking of ancient times, Chicago Cub fans' 71-year wait to see a World Series game in Wrigleyville is over tonight. Chicago hosts the Indians in Game 3 at 8 p.m. I'll preview it next on Newswatch. And as always, make sure to stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up on your public television station.
Friday nights are all about high school football, but when the games are over and the helmets come off, it's time for some gridiron glory. I'm your host, Danny Dean, back under center. Don't miss a play this season. Join myself and the rest of our team on Friday nights at 11:30 on WOUB and catch us again on Saturday mornings at 11:30. We are committed to bringing you the stories of players, coaches, and communities. And of course, we can't forget about some highlights. We all know there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron glory.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
Welcome back, I'm Megan Vanslow. Ohio is bowl eligible for an 8th consecutive season after they stunned the Rockets 31-26 last night. Ohio never trailed in the matchup despite leading just 14-13 at one point and 21-20 late in the third. Dorian Brown led the Cats with 212 yards on 29 carries and 1 touchdown. Quentin Maxwell started for Ohio but was replaced by Greg Windham in the second quarter. However, late in the third, Windham was carted off the field with a serious leg injury. Maxwell took over again and immediately completed a 37-yard rocket to Pappy White on the Toledo 25. And the two matched up again on the very next play to put Ohio up 21-13. The win moved Ohio to 6-3 and 4-1 in the MAC. Up next is a home matchup against the 2-6 Buffalo Bulls. Last night also saw the Tennessee Titans top the Jaguars 36-22 on the Thursday night football stage. Marcus Mariota went 18 of 22, throwing for 270 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Titans recorded their highest point total of the season yesterday, and since the start of the 2014 season, Tennessee's home record is 3-0 against the Jaguars and 1-17 against everybody else. The Titans also got their first fumble recovery of the season in the third quarter when LaShawn Sims pounced on the ball after a muffed punt return. The turnover set up a 33-yard field goal for Tennessee. On Sunday for the NFL, many eyes will tune in to see the Cincinnati Bengals take on the Redskins in London. The Bengals are 0-4 against teams with a winning record this season, but they aren't out of the picture with the struggles of the AFC North. Kickoff is scheduled for 9:30 on Sunday morning. Be sure to tune in to Gridiron Glory tonight at 11:30 p.m. Every game they feature includes a team that has to win tonight in order to clinch a playoff spot. The biggest game in the TVC Ohio kicks off at 7:30 as the Athens Bulldogs will play at Nelsonville, York. They're previewing the Southern at Eastern game for tomorrow. A win for Southern puts them in the playoffs. Also in their coverage is Tri-Valley at Philo, Zane Trace at Westfall, Adina at Unioto, Bloom Carroll at Fairfield Union, and Amanda Clear Creek against Liberty Union. Again, that's all tonight at 11:30 on Gridiron Glory. Tonight's 7 p.m. tip-off for the Cleveland Cavaliers in Toronto won't be just another game on the 82-game schedule. Toronto had its season cut short last spring by the Cavs, who defeated the Raptors in 6 games of the Eastern Conference Finals. Toronto fell behind 2-0, losing both games in Cleveland last May. And the Ohio volleyball team will return to the road to take on a pair of Mid-American Conference East Division rivals this weekend, making the trek to Amherst, New York to battle tonight at 6 p.m. at Alumni Arena, then heading to James A. Rhodes Arena on Saturday on the way home to play Akron at 5 p.m. At 8, the Cubs will host the Indians in Game 3 of the World Series. Josh Tomlin will be on the mound for Cleveland against Kyle Hendricks for Chicago. Kyle Schwarber will not play tonight, and George Soler is the starting right fielder for Chicago. The Cubs tried to get Schwarber medically cleared to play in left, but doctors said no yesterday. That meant that Ben Zorbas stayed in left instead of moving to right, and manager Joe Madden decided on Soler for right. Many Cubs fans have been outside Wrigley Field all day. One vendor was even sporting a "I ain't afraid of no goat" shirt. Back over to you, Matt.
Well, here's our weekend outlook. 78 Saturday, 58 by Saturday evening. Sunday looking at 75. Chance of showers moves into our area late Sunday evening. Chilly evening tomorrow for Halloween here in Athens. 68 degrees, clear skies. There's that spooky Halloween on Court Street. There you go. Trick or treat forecast for our area. 60 degrees on Monday. Partly cloudy skies. Mild and dry for this time of the year. Woohoo. Extended forecast looks like this. Saturday, 78 degrees. Sunday, 75, unseasonably warm. Should be in the lower 60s. Monday for trick-or-treat and Halloween, 68 degrees. Warm up back up near 80 on Tuesday, 78. Sunny skies throughout the rest of our week. Next chance of rain doesn't come until next weekend. Well, that's a long ways away. How about that, Abby?
Sounds great, Matt. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Abby Grisey. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.
Friday nights are all about high school football, but when the games are over and the helmets come off, it's time for some gridiron glory. I'm your host, Danny Dean, back under center. Don't miss a play this season. Join myself and the rest of our team on Friday nights at 11:30 on WOUB, and catch us again on Saturday mornings at 11:30. We are committed to bringing you the stories of players, coaches, and communities, and of course, we can't forget about some highlights. We all know there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron glory.